France is arguably most famous for its wine, and Paris is overloaded with delicious wine bars, but it can be overwhelming. How do you even know what to order if you don't know much about wine? Can you send it back? Do you tip? And how do you even know you're getting a good wine bar to begin with? After living in Paris for the last 7 years, I've picked up all the tips and tricks you'll need to have the best time possible in Paris's wine bars. And I'll even share 5 of my favorite wine bars with you along the way. This is Paris in My Pocket's Guide to Wine Bars in Paris 2024. Let's go. I'm in the fancy private tasting room at the back of Chateau, which is very centrally located in the first arrondissement and is going to be the one conventional wine cellar that we talked about today because their service is really friendly. They've been very kind to me in coming in and wrecking their space here for a little bit. Their wine selection is quite tasty. I have had no bad experiences here. And in fact, if you want, you can privatize this special room in the back to have a tasting, to have a little bit of a team meeting, a birthday party, whatever it is you're looking for. You can get totally wasted in this most classy of environments. But if you'd like to hang out at the bar, they have a beautiful bar with some wonderful chairs. You could probably meet somebody who's also traveling along the way. And it's really, really easy to get to. It's just outside of Les Halles, like right on the edge where we'd start to say things start to get delicious. And this area's got a lot of great food and wonderful places to go, which you can find in my guide at parisinmypocket.com, along with Chateau. Classic spot, great reputation. Come get your wine on. Or we should go get wine on elsewhere now. Rules for ordering. There are 3 main rules for ordering, especially if you're new to ordering wine in France. You're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You don't really know what you want, maybe, or you just need a little bit of help. It's totally fine. Like, it can be a scary situation to be in. Just 3 rules to remember: how you feel, how much, and how much. If you don't know exactly what to order, there's no need to feel guilty if you don't know the difference between a Pinot Noir or a Pet Nat. You can just walk into it and start with the basics. Like, I'm feeling like a red, a white, maybe a rosé, champagne, the basics. That's a great place to start. And then from there, tell them what you feel. Like for me, often I'm gonna say, I'm feeling like a light, juicy red. It's something that always gets me pretty much what I'm looking for, and it's a great combination. There is a little bit of interpretation, obviously, depending on the person you're talking to, but if you can give a little bit of a chat about the things you like, the things you don't, and let them know where you are in your wine journey, letting them know how you feel, like, a warm summer's day, or a dry, crisp white. Dry, by the way, is a word that doesn't mean the opposite of wet in this instance. Dry means the opposite of sweet. It's a wine that's used up all of its sugars in fermentation, and so it tends to be on the less sweet side. Number 2, how much? How much do you feel like drinking? If you're looking to have wine by the bottle or by the glass, it's gonna have a direct impact on what your options are, because a lot of bars are gonna end up having a few options on hand for by the glass, and then a whole long wine list for what you can drink by the bottle. Like, this place has a massive list of stuff that they're not gonna give you just by the glass. So if you're by yourself or you're feeling a little bit uncertain, starting with by the glass is a really good option to kind of get your feet wet. And then from there, you can always ask for a bottle. If you're traveling with friends, you're with a group, going by the bottle is probably gonna be the way to go. And the nice thing is all you have to do is divide that bottle by 6, and you know roughly how many glasses you have to share. Rule number 3, also how much, but this time how much you want to pay. The third constraint on how you order is going to be budget. How much are you willing to spend? What are you looking to spend? If you're looking to spend like €7 for a glass, or you've got a larger budget, the bottle side is where things can go absolutely crazy. The wonderful thing is that in France, we do have an amazing selection of wines from 10 to 20 euros per bottle. But remember, if you're in a restaurant like Furia here, there is going to be a markup, and so the price is going to be a little bit higher, or significantly higher depending on where you go in the city, but obviously places like this are going to be cool. Just let them know how much you're willing to spend, and don't be afraid to raise the question in case they just happen to forget to mention the cost of the bottle. Furia offers the single best. Their Baja fish taco is the taco to get if you're gonna be looking for tacos in Paris. And I realize you're probably not coming for tacos when you're in Paris, but you might be missing it. And if you live here, you definitely are on the hunt for a good taco. But the wine selection is phenomenal. This is gonna be our first natural wine selection for the night. They're supplied by Chateau, the #1 importer of German natural wines. They've got quite the selection. This place has great wine, phenomenal service. They are hilarious, a ton of fun, really good taste, and just basically everything they're doing. The vibe is really good. And if you get a window seat, you have a straight view to Saint-Ambroise, one of the best underrated churches in Paris. It's a phenomenal view, vibe, place, wine, people, tacos, Furia. If you don't come to Furia while you're here, you're definitely missing out. It is also perfectly legal to drink wine outside in Paris, but we'll get to that. You don't want to do that here. This is not the right spot. So my friend Fred here is a sommelier. He's very impressive in a number of different ways. Taught himself French just by living and working here. Has worked in a Michelin star restaurant, sings opera, is a writer, is handsome, clever, smart, hardworking. There's a lot to say about this guy that is positive.
I am on Tinder. I am on.
From the professional side, somebody who's actually worked in wine for a decade, when to you is it appropriate for a client to send wine back after you go?
Yeah. I really love this conversation because it's entirely practical, and it's very much on a case-by-case basis. There are certain flaws in wine that make them returnable wine, and often it comes at how they're promoted to you, how they're explained, and if they miss one of those components that actually ends up being really important. If I say I want a white wine that's dry and fresh and mineral and drinkable or something more sophisticated or whatever the profile of the wine that you're looking at is, and then you get served something and it's sort of like a car crash of fruit into alcohol, or it's got something really lactic going on, or if there's a problem in its exposure to oxygen that makes the wine mousy. So if it ever feels like someone is not addressing a fault in the wine so that they can sell it and get away with it, then to me that's not acceptable. So I do think that returning wine is an available option if you feel like you've been misled. And so what is unacceptable as a consumer is if you take a wine list, you flip to whatever page, you say, I want that one. You don't ask any questions about it, and they pop the cork, they bring it to the table, you taste it, and it's not what you want.
Yeah, I think a good way to sum that up then is to offer both your host and yourself the opportunity for some education. Well, but I also don't mean teach me everything about the wine so much as just to here's an opportunity to educate as far as this is what I think I like.
Yeah.
And then let them guide you through that process. Gotta be careful, go to the places where you know the people can be trusted. Pretty sure everywhere in my guide is plug. Cavalier, a bar that I've only discovered today because of Fred, and I trust his recommendations implicitly, and especially when it comes to stuff like natural wine when you don't exactly know what you're going to get. What pays off the most is to know the people that are selling it to you, because they have relationships with the producers, they're always trying it, talking to them, they really know what they're buying and selling, and so if you can find a few people that you trust, like the people that I'm showing you in this video, then you know you're going to have a good time, even if it's a little bit extra fun and funky. Cavalier is a bar on a street that you wouldn't normally expect to find a place like this. It's surrounded by kebabs, pizza by the slice places, and one of my favorite random theaters. I'm gonna wait for this. They make cocktails too. And they have pop-up chefs, so you never know what you're gonna get when you come on in. What we're having tonight, you won't be able to get when you come in, but the food will be good. Wonderful spot, friendly staff, proud staff. Their photos are on the walls. Cavalier. Happy to add it to the guide. There are 3 major rules to cheersing in France, and you would be wise to adhere to them. 1, eye contact. Make and maintain eye contact with the person that you're cheersing until your glasses have touched, and then move on to the next. This is very important. You can say cheers, you can say prost, you can say santé. Chin, in French we say santé normally, or you can say chin, but if you don't make eye contact, you're cursing yourself to 7 years of bad sex. And yes, that is a cultural norm, and no, you can't get out of it. I don't know how deeply cursed I am at this point, but anyways, I don't need to out myself on the internet like that. 2, do not cross arms with anyone else while cheersing. Whether under or over or wrapping around, crossing while cheersing is considered deeply rude and will bring sexy doom upon you as well. Number 3, cheers everyone. Something that's very important to French culture is acknowledging the humanity of everyone at the table or in the room. It's very much like having to do the bees with everyone at a house party. You need to make sure that you see people, you acknowledge their humanity, and then you're able to move on. Also, when you're done cheersing everybody, make sure you take a drink. There's no cheersing and then putting your glass back down without taking the drink in question. That one's probably debatable. I'm sure somebody would debate me on that one, but I hold to it. As for tipping, if you're an American and you feel morally obliged to leave a percentage behind, no one will be offended. I often say that I think this is a big part of the rehabilitation of the image of the American tourist in France, that we are very generous tippers. I'm not anymore because I've lived here too long, and the reason is because in France you don't have to tip. Service staff are paid a living wage. It's not something you need to stress out over, and they will behave accordingly. Like, they're not here to earn your tip, so that can explain a little bit of the edge to some French service. If you do get exceptionally good service, you have a really good time, it's perfectly acceptable to leave 1 or 2 euros on the table as a pourboire. Pourboire means literally for a drink. You can buy your server a drink just by leaving a couple euros, and enough of those add up to a full glass. Cheers. As for where we are, I thought we would switch it up a little bit and go for a little bit of a casual champagne evening. This is a great way to do it. We're at Pétillance. They've got some nice charcuterie, some really good cheese, and then some delicious options for champagne. If you're looking to sit down, uncork a bottle, and share it among your friends, not a bad spot to do it, and a very, very fun part of town with so much nightlife and great food that you'll find in my guide. I love this area, but if it's warm outside and the sun is shining, indoors might not be your vibe, and I've got some really good news for you there. You can drink outside in Paris. Technically, it's actually only legal in certain arrondissements, but basically nobody enforces any rules about it as long as you're being cool and you clean up after yourself. That's a really big one. My favorite place to drink is going to be on the canal, but the river happens to be a really great spot to do it as well. I can drop a pin on that where there's a great spot by Pont-Marie. Cooper is not allowed to drink, he's not quite old enough. And if you want to be a hero, one of the things I would recommend is if you're here and you want a really nice souvenir for your time in Paris, that's one that you can get back easily and is going to be useful to you for the rest of your life, grab a bottle opener and then bring it with you to the river or to the canal, because there will be people around who definitely forgot, and it's a really nice way to be social and offer a helping hand wherever you are. So be a hero, bring a bottle opener.
I feel like romances have been founded over bottles.
You probably will find the love of your life that way. There are a couple of good places that you can grab wine, obviously, when you're out and about. I have a few in my guide. One of those, one of my favorites, is Cavewoman Wines, run by Allison. Allison, I do have a loaded question to ask you. How would you define the difference between a natural and a conventional wine? Because we're at a natural wine festival right now, but it's also kind of a testy subject, right? Like, what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, natural wine, minimal intervention. Basically, you're not adding anything, and you're also not doing any additional processes when it comes to like filtering or fining. Conventional wine, there is more latitude with regards to what you can put in it, what you can take away from it, and the way you basically interact with it. That said, most of the things that we're putting into our body have had a lot of intervention. So I'd say I don't know why we're getting so picky about our wine, given what most of us do on a Saturday night.
All right, thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, Cooper.
Anyway, if all of this wine talk has got you deeply thirsty and you'd like to quench that thirst in a more sacred space, then you're going to want to watch this video right here about the churches you can see in Paris to get that Notre Dame fix in 2024 before the cathedral opens back up. Go give that a watch right now and, bring a bottle of bubbly along for the ride.